All right. Good morning and welcome to today's live show. I did wake up this morning with a little bit of a cough, a little bit of a fever, and a lot of aches and pains. So I might be a little slow today. It kind of hurts to click my mouse, actually, weirdly enough, because I'm a big baby when I get sick, if you didn't know. I don't get sick often, but when I do, I turn into a big ass baby. Okay, now, we do have some big ranges for the day. We do see 602.58 to the upside, and we do see 586.50 to the downside. But I think the important thing for now is just realizing some things that can cause the market to go up and some things that can cause the market to go down, and trying to react to those as good as we can, right? That's why having a plan going in today was a good idea. And if my plan was this is a higher low, then my plan might have been, if I do not see that confirmation of the 30-minute up this morning and we do not take back that 5, then I will be most likely seeing that fade. And if this does turn down again, if we fade this entire move, it might mean we are heading lower to create that little divergence point. So we will be paying attention to that, as we may need people to get a little more bearish. But we are seeing this upward move. This is very, very nice for the SPY. We're getting some reactions in other places too, which is great. But there is a reason that I'm mentioning that, and that's because volatility gapped down. But you'll notice something interesting here where, yeah, the MACD is not showing anything, but the RSI is still saying, hey, we could get a reaction. So if this is going to curl up, say like right now, well, that would say there are some probabilities to the SPY actually going down to that daily expected move downside. So just be aware of that. It doesn't mean that this has to be absolutely awful and terrible and bearish and all this. A lot of people reporting that the uninverted yield curve just re-inverted for a moment, which is a signal that if you do cross back through, that usually is some kind of market top at that point. So the market top might be closer than you think, but usually during those times where you do see that yield curve flip up and cross back through, you do see some positivity, but we're still going to pay attention to the most important thing, and that is the price action. That is the most important thing going forward, right? Is this 2-hour going to curl up? Now, if this is going to be really fast in some kind of trap, we might go make that right shoulder that could have been up in these areas towards 607 and then see that reject, right? See this curl back down into negative territory would be interesting. Once again, though, I am slightly paying attention to V-shaped type of behaviors, right? Because of that that inversion again, we might see that explosive move, all right? So we'll see if that's able to take place. That would mean the daily chart is going to be able to curl up. And this can be very, very quick. This can literally be like we head up, we fake out, and we turn right back down. So we will be paying attention if this rejects. But if this MACD is able to wipe out these divergence points completely, then we will be saying, okay, this is going to extend maybe into the end of March, right? We could see an explosive move, come retest those levels, then end up going higher around that 630 or 620, and then we could see that resistance come in on a daily chart again. So we will be paying attention to that, but we need to be watching for the lower high as well, because you do have the divergence on the SPY, and really it was more the divergence on the ES, and the NQ is not able to make the perfect new high, right? They're not able to really make a new high there. So that's kind of some things I'm paying attention to. I'm just aware that this is a moment in time where you have to be aware if this is going to drop down, right? And so for now, if we're seeing signals that we can catch a bounce, that means, okay, in this bounce, we will be looking, do we make reversal signals here on the 2-hour or like a 30-minute chart? Do we make those reversal signals here, or do we see this extend and make them later on? And that's all we're going to be watching at this moment. So I'm sorry if my energy is a little bit low. I will, if you guys ask me to look at a chart, I am a little sick, so I will be possibly hopping off just a little bit early, but I want to make sure to take my time if someone gives me a stock to look at, because I know everyone's going to ask about Nvidia. It's a gap holding the structure. This is something that if this curls up again on the daily, well, we'd get rid of that blip. And really, this was a blip. Like, you know that this is not a confirmation, right? Sometimes this is crossing down and it's wrong. This is, well, and it's not necessarily wrong. You are below the 9, but I'm saying this is a positive bar below the 9, right? We haven't gotten that solid confirmation. These ones are, yeah, that can extend, but right now it looks like we might get that counter trend move, and we'll see if that fails. But I think we're just going to possibly cross up and see this thing boom and actually see this head and shoulders play out for Nvidia. That's just my take. I'm not going to take any plays with Nvidia because I'm sure the IV is just garbage and the options are probably expensive. And if you get IV crushed, you're kind of screwed with that one. So that's not my plan. One of my plans was actually looking at USO, and then I didn't actually make that play. I was looking at US oil, and that was hinting me that the 10-year could cross up and the dollar could cross up. And you see that dollar really going now. So everyone's saying, hey, the dollar's collapsing. We're saying, no, it has 4-hour divergence at our 106.49. And we're like, yeah, that can fail and head down lower. But all it has to do is, you know, remain semi-positive and not give up these lows. Hey, guess what? This daily might be curling up. We might see the dollar go up. We might see the 10-year yield go up. We might see oil go up. And we might see the market go up all at the same time soon, and that would be very, very interesting. Now, something we are aware of is if this 4-hour does cross back down, but as we're taking back the 5, looks like we might extend that move a little bit, so we'll see what happens. So 2 important signals, I think, on volatility. You got to watch that one, and then the other one is just, does the SPY confirm a 30-minute chart up today to go to a daily expected move? Just as you said, to be careful. Okay, wait, I bought Google calls yesterday. Is it better to exit now? Google shows a bear flag kind of. It's going to be up to you, right? It's going to be what you're comfortable with, right? If you're looking for that little 20% trade, I mean, I'm sure this 1% move from Google, if you bought at the end of the day yesterday, would be fine. But it's just, what's your goal with the trade, right? You're asking, and I'm not calling you out or talking badly about you, Zana, okay? I'm just saying, you're asking a guy on the internet that kind of stuff. Like, this is your money, so have a plan for it. But I will help you out, right? I will help you out and say, hey, if I'm in this trade, let's say I got in at the end of the day and I see that 30-minute curl up. Well, where would I start to be a little bit worried that it would drop? Well, very obvious level, right? The 5 is here. We don't have 30-minute divergence anymore. You just have it on the RSI just ever so slightly. So if this is going to be V-shaped, then this 30 minutes is never going to curl back down, and you're just going to be able to take back that 5 without curling this back down. So my overall standpoint here is, I think we're going to get a big move from Google, whether that base is just going to be now and we just randomly go up, right? Big buy comes in, or if we get that higher low, or if this needs to go down deeper. So if the 30-minute crosses, I'll potentially be out, look for the opportunity later, and then see this and be like, okay. But as of right now, you're outside of a weekly, you're outside of a monthly, you're coming back into the weekly, but the monthly is up towards that 182.59. Yeah, so you just got to know, like, this is a pretty much at this point with the signals that we have, this is just a risk to reward play, like almost by itself, right? You have reasons to take the trade. If you're a part of Patreon and you see those monthly and weekly expected moves, I would use those as 2 reasons. I would use this divergence as maybe a reason to get in when this curls up. But the main thing is just playing the percentages here, right? The risk is like, it really for the week and for the month, it's saying the risk to downside is starting to get really, really small. But the risk that you're going to see a big reaction is getting much bigger, right? You have the risk of going all the way to 187 sometime next week, like early next week. You're not concerned about the tariffs on Tuesday? No, not even in the slightest. Thank you for that. I plan to go to 180 for now. Okay, awesome. Awesome, 180 for now. And really be paying attention to the price, right? This is just a line. This is almost like a zone, right? We treat it almost like a zone. But if you really look at it, the prices that you need to close back above is going to be that 179.14. So if you get that extension to 180, and let's say I have like 10 contracts are really cheap for Google actually. Well, if I have 10 contracts, I could potentially sell 5, maybe even break even, and then just let the rest ride and be happy, you know? Right? How can I make the trade successful, but also as least stressful as possible with the environment that we're in now? Right? If we're going to see Google make some kind of daily move to go make a lower high, which is the most probable thing at this moment, just so you're aware, it's unless we actually see some kind of big black swan moment, right? Then we can drop down to 165, right? Then make that left shoulder. We can go do this, right? Use that 182.59 as resistance again, or we can see this big move up. We can even see a big move. Maybe we see resistance here, or even at the gap fill, right? This thing could scream and then just fall right back down. I think you're more likely to see some kind of retrace move here, so I would be pulling this up. If we actually get a bottom, you want to mark this type of stuff off and just get some key levels to pay attention to for next week right away. This is the level I would pay attention to for next week right away. Right, I'd be looking at that 195.50 and just staring at it and going, okay, what does the structure look like? Can we get there next week? If I don't think we can, I might be out of the play for a pullback. Right, it's pretty back and forth, but overall this is okay, right? We haven't seen anything like this in a little while, right? We had an attempt here, but no divergence on anything. We saw the big wick up here, which if you put volume up, it's pretty interesting, but yeah, I'd just be watching out for it. And then obviously for the SPY guys and for all the stocks out there, you just want to be watching this volatility. And then if that curls up, just really be watching our plays, right? We're going to watch our plays and make sure there's no curl downs or anything like that. 8, not 10, might add 2 more today depending on what happens. Exactly, yeah. See, I think that's how I want to do it for the time being. Let's go all the way up. That'd be sick, right? You'd potentially make however many contracts. Like if you have 10 contracts and Google goes to, let's say you have like one, I don't know, what's it at right now? Google's at 174. Say you have 180 and it ends up going to 187 all of a sudden. You're like, okay, I have almost 7 grand there, right? Simple math on that without including the time value. Tell me you're still in Google with me. I'm still in it. It's just I'm waiting for the actual like trigger, so I might be more in it today. Right? First position on the shorter time frames didn't work out. I actually didn't manage. It was not losing value that rapidly. And then once I actually see some positivity today, I'll potentially be making a decision. So yeah, I am still in it technically. I think in the video last night I was like, oh, I'm not even in this yet. And then I went, oh wait, yeah, I did take like a starter position here at the weekly expected move, right? So I actually took some here and took some at the weekly expected move as my starter position, kind of cut that in half and half. And then I wait for positivity and then I actually make the big money play. Right, this is my like, hey, I'm willing to risk the risk to reward play with a couple of contracts, nothing too crazy. And then if it sees that random move, if it would have got a big gap up, I would have loved it. So now that this is happening, this is actually good for me too. It'll probably be right around my cost average, right in the middle of here and here. And then I can actually see that produce, see that confirm up, and then make another decision there and make it a little bigger position. Currently, oh, I don't have my other thing up. I need to have it up. Can you check Tesla? Yeah, Tesla needs to see that positivity right away, right? What did we say about Tesla a couple days ago? It does not want to stay down here for the entire week. No, you need this to buy up this week. You do not want to see this weekly close, in my opinion. I just don't think you want to see that weekly close. I think if you get this weekly close, next week you're probably doing this, right? 250 starts to, that door starts to open to 250, right? That's another 15% drop or so. So that's a big problem. And just, hey guys, keep me honest today, okay? If I say something incorrect, please call it out in the chat because my brain's a little funky, still a little sick. So just keep an eye out for me, all right? So something here is you're finally getting 30-minute rejection divergence, but it's just not producing positivity. 2 hour not curling up yet, so nothing really happening here. You're looking for that big buy to come in. I think I have the 183, 180? I have a 180 call or a 182 on Google. 182. I think it had to be 182.50. And we're gonna do a shorter time. That way it's still real nice and cheap. Yeah, 182.50. That might get more expensive today. So I might wait till end of day, see what happens. Yeah, we're back, Marco. Sorry about the sorry about being sick today. That's always lame. So I hope that I'm able to look at things pretty clearly. I'm gonna try to talk a lot slower. So you might hear me get quiet at times. That's just because I'm trying to give my brain, make sure it has enough time to really think about what I'm saying. Looks like Microsoft might go to the expected highs. Microsoft is great, and this is something very, very nice. Like, a lot of people see this and they think flag, 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 right? But you have to also consider the fact that this could be a base, right? And we do see that next touch down that we didn't even get to the zone. We do see divergence holding at the lows. We do see that very flat, slightly up on the MACD. So this is saying that the 2 hour is a good shot to cross. It's actually very normal to see this go up to resistance, curl down, and make that higher low. So what you're looking for is the confirmation of the 2 hour today. That would really start to add up like, hey, it's very likely for Microsoft to go to 417.80, 89, somewhere in that level. So if that 2 hour crosses up, you get here, you make that higher low. What do you have? Head and shoulders. And what does this add up to? Well, we just talked about that inversion and uninversion happening, right? So if that's going to go back, we can see that positivity for a moment, meaning this daily could even curl up. But the positioning of these MACDs, guys, is saying if we get to one of these zones, watch out if we start to reverse down with some signals, okay? And just always be paying attention to the other side too, right? If this 30-minute crosses down, you're probably heading down to 393.20. Bears at 60%. Yeah, so this is why I'm talking about, like, hey, we could V-shape, and maybe people are waiting for data tomorrow. Maybe it'll happen at the end of the day today. But very interesting for that to be happening. It looks like GME trying to get a little 2% curl up. AMC trying to get a little 1% thing to happen here. Need that 30-minute to come back. Need the 2 hour to confirm up and really blow this out of the water. You need some big moves here. And divergence on Bitcoin, way to find it out. Yeah, 2 hour divergence on Bitcoin. And this is what's really funny is some huge channels on Twitter are just going, Bitcoin is garbage, like this morning. Literally, they're like, Bitcoin is absolutely crashing. This is the worst. It can, but you actually have a reversal signal that says you're very likely to get some kind of retest. I would say in a little box up here is where you want to retest, right? We want to extend all the way, maybe even to that breakdown area. So we're paying attention to this line and we're paying attention to this right here. And we're going, okay, that could be a counter trend move. And we look at the 4 hour. 4 hours just starting to curl up. So you see how we could get that strong move that gets people nice and bullish. And then that thing could just like fall right back down, right? We could just easily make a lower high on the 4 hour with this. If the daily is able to curl up, we want to pay attention to higher prices, actually. This could, it's almost like a slingshot, right? We wind it up this way and bam. So if we're winding it this way and then big buys start to come in and then FOMO start to come in, we can pay attention, but still lower high is the most probable scenario for Bitcoin at this moment. Oh, this is... Ooh, talking like about multiple charts when you're sick is, it's a little tough, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm still looking at that 73K to about 69K. That's crazy though, Dave. Loma, good morning. Welcome, Bernie. How you doing? Tell Loma I say hi and tell her thank you for letting you use her YouTube account. Okay? I don't think we've said that before. Tesla is plummeting into the 250s or high 100s. What position do you have? That's my question. What position do you have? And what things? And you might be saying that like you took a short position here and your target is there. I get it. But more so now, if you're saying that now, like this has to go down from here. I mean, what reasons would you give someone to open a short position here? That's not the right idea, right? But I understand if you did it up here. But I just want you to notice this 30 minutes been cooked for a while and you have divergence. So to say like, oh, Tesla's going to 250, well, we'll see if that produces positivity first. And then if it goes to here and rejects, we might start to climb our way towards 250. That's how I'd look for it. Isn't Bitcoin in a cycle low? I don't care about Bitcoin cycles. I don't give a shit about any of it. You know what happens during the cycles when people are like, oh, we're going into the bull cycle. The bull cycle, it happens. They think like it's a timed thing, but it's actually like a 3-month gap where you can base out and then you finally experience positivity. So I don't follow cycles for Bitcoin. You know what I do follow? I follow the signals, because it's pretty, it's not like simple, but it is if you're used to making good decisions. Breakout, take it. Everyone was talking about 100K down here, breaks through, goes to 100K. Like we see the obvious resistance that was across, and then it breaks through. But people are like, down in here, people over here are like, we're about to enter the bull cycle, then it takes its time, then we actually see the breakout. But also, just to put another cherry on top, if you wanted to get the actual low of this, you could have, using all the things that we talk about on this channel. Not doing anything, just saying. I think you're aware of the right things. It's just to say like, oh, Tesla's going down to 250 when it actually looks like it might bounce. Just be like, there's a way to talk about it analytically, to just be like, oh, it looks like we could get an intra-sequence, like a sequence move bounce, but we're still in a negative trend, so therefore I believe we're going to go to 250. It's kind of like, or 240 or 200. But if you wanted to get the low of Bitcoin, you literally had this. It was right there. We even pointed it out with our zone. That's it. That's all you needed. Boom, boom, boom. Never looked back since. So I'm just saying, like, you can pay attention to cycles, you can try to guess based on seasonality, or you can just be like, yeah, okay, this is supposed to be where the bull cycle is. Okay, people are saying that online, so maybe I'll just look out for divergence. Okay, there's daily divergence, triple divergence, very nice. That's probably going to curl up a weekly chart. And does the trend, yeah, it turned down, but is it going to remain positive? Oh, it remains positive. Okay, we're probably going to 100K. We're probably going to attempt to break through resistance. Once you see a move and it goes, oh man, it looks like we're probably going to break through resistance. Do you know what the word probably comes from? Do you know what the word probably comes from? It comes from probability, right? So, and do not think I'm trying to be rude or anything today, guys. I can hear the tone of my voice. I'm just very sluggish. All right, we're opening up with a turn up. So if we take back this 5, we can get up to key levels, right? We could get up to these areas, curl down, curl back up. Amazon, big push, 2. Oh man, 2% to the upside. Still paying attention if anything fades, but for the most part, Amazon doing great things, able to curl up a 2-hour chart, looking for if that 2 ever vomits again. I'd potentially even today be looking at an hourly chart, as that is close to the center line. But as you have really said, like, hey, we want to keep this 213.52. Man, aren't we good at finding levels? Aren't we just really good at that? Let's get even better at it in the future. Let's have that goal. This here, you're starting to reach over into overbought territories. So pullbacks can happen, but we really want Amazon to take off. GLD, still dropping down, another drop down, hitting target finally. I was already out of this with the down in these areas. Too good of money, right? It's just too good of money. I think it was like 300 to 400% in here. So I was just like, nah, I'm not someone who's trying to get rich and hold this and experience some kind of gold crash, even though I think it is a probable thing. The 30-minute crossing down, we want to see if that crosses back up now at support. That means this 2-hour could start to make that move in the upward direction. The fact that the market wants to go higher, it might actually mean gold wants to go higher as well. So we'll see how that shapes up. I do want to see how HGX opens up today. Volatility, are we curling up on a 30-minute? Actually, let me put this over on SPY. I have volatility right here. Nothing yet. Goog up over $1 already. Let's go. Oh, okay, it didn't get too much more expensive. That's good. Not a ton there. That's nice. All right. Thank God we didn't try to do Nvidia earnings. I'm sure Nvidia earnings, I'm sure everyone's pissed who has calls. I'm sure everyone is just fuming who has calls. Because you went up to 135, and that's exactly where the resistance should come in to hold good structure. Then maybe you go retest and fill the gap. Then maybe you start to turn back up over time. We'll watch 1-minute charts for fun every once in a while. I don't take trades based off 1-minute charts. Sometimes if the signals look fantastic, I will go into the micro like 5-minute and make a decision if something shows up. But if nothing shows up, then I'm still looking for the 30-minute chart to confirm. But you know, Zana, I know there are other people out there that use my strategies in completely different ways. They use my weekly expected moves and monthly expected moves in completely different ways. So there's a way to pull it off. Maybe it's like if I see a 30-minute divergence down by that area and then I see 1-minute triple divergence, I can go, okay, I'll make that decision and find that nice little trade for just like a 3-4 point move. But there are people who do that. It's just, yeah, it's just, that's why I don't trade them, Zana. There's not a lot of time to react, especially if you're, but that's why I'm like, okay, if I have a 30-minute signal with it, I feel a lot more comfortable, right? If I at least see 30-minute divergence by a weekly expected move, then I see a bunch of 1 or 5-minute divergence. I'm more comfortable with that because you're at a weekly expected move. You have 30 minutes, a bigger time frame signal behind you. That's what I would mostly say about it. Sorry, my brain's kind of shutting off for a second there. SPY still going. Goog, I gotta pull this guy up. Goog looking pretty decent. Nice little curl up so far. But this thing's gonna need some time here to see if it's going to curl back down, right? Normally, for things like Google, by the way, normally at a weekly expected move around these areas, right? Weekly expected move. Normally we want to see that 30-minute really give us a solid, direct, very obvious thing here. That would make a lot more comfortability in the trade. But for now, I think the trade's going to be just a tad uncomfortable, and we'll see if we keep going up. VIX, the only thing you're looking at is a divergence on the RSI. That's it. So you're aware if that crosses up, but that's it. And that doesn't even have to be big selling. I'm learning from you. Hey, that's awesome, Zana. I appreciate you being here. Keep asking questions. It's perfectly fine. You're just catching me on a day where I'm a little bit low energy. Just a little bit. Microsoft going up. Oh, thankfully I added the Google play right away. Thank you guys for mentioning Google again, because my brain is fried right now. So I do appreciate you mentioning Google, so I remember my little book. I actually do have my booklet right here in front of me with, hey, make sure you're looking at Google. It literally is like, look at Google. Oh, I just hit my keyboard with the book. It says, look to add contracts for Google today if seeing positivity. That's the only note I have. Vitamin C, triple dose. Yeah, my wife went out and got some emergency and things like that today. Very nice, though, for Google to give us that little comeback. We'll see if that can continue. We still need the 2-hour to turn up. Yeah, hard rejection at 135. Very hard rejection at 135. But it's still in an area where that makes sense, right? Like, if you see this little block here, we know 135 is serious resistance. Once again, thank you to our hard work, right? Our hard work over the years has let us be able to find very key levels using our skills. And we're finding those levels, 125, 135. Looking very, very flaggy still, by the way. Like, if this curls down, we have to treat it like it can be bad, and then we'll see if it can curl back up. Let me get rid of a lot of these drawings on Nvidia, because they are not necessary for the time being, but we know the head and shoulders can be there if the daily is able to confirm back up. Oh yeah, Starbucks, we can look at that in just a split moment here. Would say it's logical this gap was a way to us as the 5 as support, to use the 5 as support. Exactly, yeah. So you're looking for, even Nvidia here, if it can fill this gap and still see positivity, it's okay, but you notice it's starting to give up all of this. So if this turns down, people are going to get bearish on it, and then it could just turn right back up around that 125. So I'm not worried about this at all. If I was worried about it for my potential trade, say Google, I'm still not worried about it at all. I know Google is completely separate from Nvidia right now, in my opinion. I don't think it's separate from the entire market if there was like horrible news. Did you celebrate? No. My dad's birthday was 3 days ago. And we both work like all the time, so we're hopefully doing another lunch with just me and him soon. And then I get sick right after that, so stumped out of Starbucks. Yeah, S-Bucks, still, this one's just difficult because we don't have the monthly expected moves, right? We don't know if this is outside of monthly. You always want to be looking for, hey, this was extended across. I can still take it, but I have to realize if this is crossing back up, which it is with the price action, it is with the RSI, this can take out this high, go make a new one, and then see something bad or not, right? I'm only reacting again and placing the trade if it reacts bad again. So Starbucks here giving you the confirmation. So even if it does this, the most likely thing is still down for now until that 2 hour crosses up. Oh, fuck. All right. They do. Yeah, I heard Salesforce had a interesting earnings. Vidu. Still very flaggy, not a very good look at this moment. You really want that 30-minute to curl up. That gives you some more to go off of. Great little divergence. Did the 2 hour confirm up? It tried to, it really tried to, but it's just not seeing that positivity out the gate. So this could be head and shoulders to the downside. So I'd really be watching. If that 2 hour crosses, I think this is 2 hour divergence. No, sorry, 2 hour divergence. I think this is a 2 hour like head and shoulders. You see how we're almost even with that high? You see how left, head, right shoulder comes in with the base right around this gap fill, I would say. So 86.50, you start to lose 86.50, 2 hour crosses down. It looks like you're gonna go down to something like 82.50. So you really, if you want this to go positive, you need that 30-minute to show that positivity and take out this level. Yeah, see VIX flipping back around. Nvidia probably starting to cross down. Once again, we see all these times where we go up, we gap fill, and then we turn up. I want to see if the 30-minute is closing below these levels. And then I want to see how that's affecting my trade with Google. So as of right now, Google vomiting, right? Really throwing up the whole move as of now. But it's still outside of a weekly. The last part of the week here. Yeah, that's the negative thing, right? Monumental. We still want to be paying attention to both sides, but that's the negative thing. That's the bearish thing that I see. Oh, this is the news I see on Microsoft. Try to get President Donald Trump to change his mind about restricting exports of the most advanced artificial intelligence chips. Yeah, he might be successful, he might not, but I still don't think like these companies are, by the way, I don't think these companies are like awful companies by any means, like Google down at lower levels, Microsoft, all these ones. I just think they're about to go through something bad. No, it's fine. And if that daily is looking positive, it's fine. That's mainly what I want to follow. But you look at those shorter time frames and you go, hey, well, if I'm in a daily trade and the 2 hour crosses down, is that daily going to keep going up? Potentially no, right? Most likely no. You're not in some kind of squeeze. So it would mean like, hey, if the 2 hour curls down, curls right back up, hey, the daily's still positive. Awesome, right? Oh yeah, momentum's been down for Tesla for a long time. You're looking for that to shift now. It has to shift like now. Technically, you're just testing it. You haven't seen full rejection. You haven't seen full confirmation in my book above the 5, but you haven't seen that full rejection yet. Of course Monumental, of course. 2022, better start selling the RIP. Yeah, that's true. I mean, once you're potentially negative gamma, a lot of the time you will see those big moves, right? We'll see big moves down, big snapback, big move down, bigger snapback, right? That's why you see me drawing out things like big W's and things. That's what happens in these type of environments. Alert set on Google for 168. Yeah, so Bitcoin, I think we did look at that a little bit ago, Martin. But if you look on the 2 hour, there's a slight 2 hour divergence suggesting that the 4 hour can confirm to the upside. That would be to most likely retest our 91.6K or go a little bit higher to retest the actual breakdown area. So I know it's on a 30-minute, but we can very obviously see where this thing broke down from. So 94, 95K, all the way down to, actually, did this lip happen a little sooner? So yeah, right here, actually, 93.6 to 91.8K is where I think we could get a 4-hour reaction to. But is that reaction happening right now, right? Is the 2-hour going to confirm down again? That would really wipe out these signals, and Bitcoin might actually be heading down even lower. I don't think that's a good sign. The lower you go here, the more, if you don't make a reversal signal again, you don't see the snap back by the end of the week, which Bitcoin will still have its weekly bar moving over the weekend. You can easily start to head down to 69.5K. So very, very rough. Yeah. Stocks are not falling off a cliff. Stocks are not falling off a cliff. Depends on the stock, right? Starbucks, if that thing would drop, that'd be falling off a cliff. Right, this is falling off a cliff. This is falling off a cliff. Even this could maybe be considered falling off a cliff for a moment. Even this could be considered falling off a cliff. This right now? No, this is a retest. This is just testing the 5, and it's a battle between the bulls and the bears. That's my book. Nvidia is. Now, see what I'm saying? Once you mention Nvidia did climb for a bit and then really saw that resistance come in. I don't think it's falling off a cliff though, right? Because it's kind of like if you fall off a cliff and you kind of just climb to the top and then you jump right back down to the bottom of it, you're still at the same level. The cliff might be here for you, right? The cliff is here. That's why you drop lower. I love that we're like, I'm like being real anal about the usage of the word cliff. I don't care. I don't care. Sorry about that, Daily Pizza. My brain's weird today. Yeah, we're still looking for the ultimate, hey, 2 hours got to confirm up, right? Once you really make it simple, I know you're trying to get the best position on shorter time frames, but just if the 2 hour confirms up, it's good. App fell off a cliff. Goog needs to turn around. Facts, it does need to turn around. It's in some serious trouble. AMC just up that 1%, trying to curl up the 2 hour. GME giving up the 2% move. Looking for potential flagging, potential 30-minute divergence can still happen for GME, even for AMC. We will see. The way this is setting up, though, if I was a person looking into this on the daily, it's like if that daily curled up right now, I'd be happy. So I'll potentially be making another option play again soon, just to hold some. Is Google bearish now? I mean, it's been bearish the whole time. It's bearish right now, yes. Even if you bought down at the lows, it's still going to be bearish with positivity. All right, just a little bit of positivity does not mean bearish or bullish or whatever. What it really you got to be looking for is like, hey, this is obviously bearish. Closing below the 200 is bearish. That's really bearish. All right, the 2 hour. Well, the 2 hour is still curled down. Hey, that's bearish, right? The 30-minute has some divergence down there on the RSI, just very, very flat, not very good. So this is bearish as well, right? It's like, it depends on the time frame you're looking at, but this has been bearish the whole time. We were starting to be bearish on it at these levels, really. We were kind of bearish the whole time in here. We were kind of like, yeah, we're just going back and forth. We never took trades, I think, with Google. But once it actually gave that upside move, we were going, all right, now it's bearish, right? It's just, it happened with the gap, so I don't think we were able to catch that one. I don't recall catching Google to the downside. All right, I got like, oh my gosh. SMAs, except for the 20. The 20 is an EMA. GLD falling off a cliff. Jack Cat knows what's up. I don't know, Sid. Maybe ask Richard. Oh my gosh, you know that pain you get behind your knees and your in your calves when you're sick. Ugh. Okay, I thought you had one as an EMA. Yeah, just the 20. So the yellow line you see kind of following the price action. That one's the EMA. To prove it. EMA 20. I mean, that's what people do. I mean, people snipe those ranges, right? Daily Pizza. Oh my gosh, this sucks, man. All right. Oh, I'll try to pop my back. It won't work. Oh, fuck. This sucks. Shorting Unity. Interesting. I just think everyone uses hourly charts, and I think hourly charts are way more likely to see triple divergence. So I wanted a time frame that worked with the 30 minute. 30 minutes, a chart that I've used for a long time. And then the 2 hour, I noticed, gets reactions, right? This is just my studying I did for a long time. 30-minute divergences give reactions for the 2 hour. They can give those reactions for the hourly, right? But it doesn't space it out enough to really cause that much. Like if I see a 30-minute signal, most of the time I'm going to see it like just very slightly on the hourly. And everyone uses hourlies, and the hourlies are more likely to make those triple divergences. So 30-minute, those are smaller moves. I'm cool with those making those triple divergence, but I want a signal that can really get me that positivity, and I think there's more positivity available. If you want to think about it, there's double the amount of positivity available for the 2 hour, and the 2 hour actually, in my research, did cause reactions from the daily chart. And if you've been a part of this channel for a long time and you've seen me point out these 2 hour divergences and said, hey, we're probably going to bounce from here, we've seen daily charts curl up most of the time with those signals. So hourly, I don't think the hourly gives you a good idea of the daily curling up, right? But I think a 2 hour does. It's more spaced out, it's bigger numbers, right? Bigger volume, more trades. So it really gives you a better assessment of the amount of momentum coming in. And then at the same time, with my research on the 30-minute and the 2 hour and the daily, I was able to connect all of them. I use 30-minute for day trading entry. See, like, yeah, there's really good benefits to 30-minute charts. Yeah, thank you for the question. But once again, Daily Pizza, if you have a strategy you're very good at, like you've done it for a while and you're just utilizing some things that you learned from this channel, I'm not telling you to switch everything. I'm telling you to just be accountable, right? I'm not trying to tell you how to do things, how to manage your money, how to do your thing. I'm just telling you about the decisions I like to make. And then you can make those decisions for yourself. I think it was like Lurkin Luke or something. He uses it completely different. Well, I am new to the channel a bit. Hey, that's great. That's great. Well, we'll be tackling a lot of this stuff. You're coming at a fun time. It's just I happen to be sick today. But thanks for contributing to the chat. It's great. There you go. Volatility. Good thing we were paying attention to that 30-minute. Looks like SPY could go down a little bit further. Maybe give up the signal. We'll see. Because SPY's not making the new low here while volatility crosses up. It could just fill this gap and turn right back down. We'll see what happens. Kind of wanted to look at the DIA. Because the DIA, I think, is like very interesting. I mean, look at this, how it could experience positivity. You got to take out that high, which is very interesting because we might run our head into a weekly expected move, but then we see this almost like slightly rounded out floor. Maybe you just draw a line across and you still go head and shoulders. Ooh, so if the 15-minute curls down here for the DIA, I would not be a happy camper. I would be thinking we're heading to the lower weekly expected move. But if the 30-minute can confirm up, then we see that positivity. So it's sometimes it's unfortunate when you do have mixed signals, but as long as you know what's going on, you can react accordingly, which is very nice. That's perfect, Daily Pizza. That's the mentality you want. Always trying to get better. I'm doing the same thing, man. All right, Google really giving it up. Google's seeing something crazy. I might have to be out of that. It's like right when I took it, yeah, I might be out of that for a bit. Let me look at this thing. 15-minute just crossing. Still holding the divergence point. I'm going to watch this for another 10 minutes here, but that is bad. If we can get a wick up, I'm down. Yeah, I've never really utilized harmonics, Caleb, to be 100% honest. I've never really utilized them. I'm just like glad I haven't had to, I guess. Like, I'm just glad I was able to formulate something and it ends up working. That's great. Now learn to see if I better. Oh yeah, let's go to the Qs for a sec. Qs giving it up again. This is where that 30-minute divergence can be created. Google, what are you doing? Right, well that's what we get for doing it when it doesn't have the best signals. Let's see here. I was due for a loss at some point. Who's talking about this? Yeah, so everyone's saying lower makes sense. I really don't see anything on Google. It just keeps dropping. Yeah, that one's gonna be an unfortunate one. And then right when I get rid of it, it's probably gonna bounce. All right, thankfully, longer out time frames. We like that. Longer out expiration. There's gotta be a snapback at some point, maybe not. I'm going to, I don't know. Let's go. Might yellow that for a month. This is bad about being sick on days like this. Like I feel like my brain can't process enough to like make decisions. But at least the Qs are showing us something interesting, right? At least the Qs are saying, hey, we're curling down on the 30 minutes, so now that divergence to get people nice and bearish might be there. All right. Let me see. See my new too. It's 10. Yeah, might do that. Just found you this morning. I opened and I subbed right away. I'm a single mom, new to trading, and need all the help I can get. Something about how you explain things has me feeling I'm in the right place. Well, we try to make it pretty simple here, right? We try not to overcomplicate things. I'm sorry, Shaysha, that you're coming on a day where I'm a little low energy, a little sick, but yeah, we're really, if you stick around here for a while, you're at least going to get a very good idea of when to make these type of decisions. And so right now we see that the 30-minute was not able to confirm up for the SPY. So that tells us that the weekly expected move has really had the door open to it. And we see the Qs starting to test these lows. So if you don't get that bounce now, you're very likely to head to 504 for the Qs. You're very likely to head to 587 for the SPY. Very interesting if we lose 590. 590 is a very key level. So super interesting to do that. And Google, I had to get out of it. I can't be a part of anything that's doing that. I gotta wait a little bit longer now. Yeah, so stick around for a while. You'll start to get a hang of things. Don't try to make anything crazy happen, right? We talk a lot about patience. We talk a lot about management of risk and managing your trade and doing all those things, because that's what really sets you apart as a trader, right? The accountability side. Hey, something is going wrong with Google, so I'm going to get out of that for the time being. Even though I really think it's going to bounce, I can't be a part of something that's dropping like this. So had to manage a trade, had to lose a little bit of money today. That's okay. We made a lot of money over the last 3 trades with JP Morgan, GLD, and Meta. I didn't get into Meta, unfortunately, so. House Committee subpoenaed Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Rumble, TikTok, and X over foreign censorship of free speech. Maybe related to Google. It might be. The weird part is, for me, the only news I see is like, I think Google just got the podcast reports, and they're the #1 podcast feeling, or podcast platform with like 1 billion views. Okay, so this thing curling down, guys, this is a good time for me to take a slight break. Just give me 5 seconds here, or a couple minutes here to get some water. So I'll be right back in 2 seconds. But hey, oh god, it just got colder down here. Oh. But hey, your boy is still live. Come on now. Installing Mozilla Firefox now. Oh, sheesh. I think here, I think we go. All right, wicking at the bottom here. Spy at 587, it can happen. Yeah, that's where I'm looking. CPC from yesterday, the reading was 0.92. As of right now, the PCC is 0.90. So nothing crazy to be worried about. Once again, I really didn't think people were that bearish here. I think sending them lower would make a lot more sense first, but I really just want to be watching now anytime that 30-minute curls up. I would love for it to go to 587 today. I'm down. Every time I read TOS, I read terms of service. Oh, thank you for hoping I feel better, Shaysha. I really appreciate it. How about the Trump gold card for $5 million as the new wealthy fast track green card? It replaces the free one we used to give rich foreign entrepreneurs. 50K of these sold equals 30 trillion. Exactly. That was the part that I was going to mention, Sid. Yeah, that's because, Caleb, that's because of margin call. That's because of over leverage. So hedge funds have other positions in the market. So if they see some kind of downturn, they could get margin called or get flushed out of those positions. And then that can affect their other positions too, like holding in GME if that saw positivity. I think from this area, you gotta say rejection from the 5 because you took out the previous low. Sorry, just sitting being comfy for a sec. You took out the previous low. Now, we want to be watching anything that is possible here because the Qs actually have the divergence. So that's very interesting to me. But the Qs could end up seeing something pretty cool here. We'll see. I'll look if this is cheaper than doing SPY too. Sometimes it is. Hell no, it ain't. I don't think it is. So just bounce up. I mean, I think you're looking for the trap, and are people trapped here yet? I don't think so. I think they could be for the Qs, but I really would like to see it on the SPY. I just want to see the SPY shoot down. And if we do it during market hours, well then that's going to be retail really panicking, and then we just see like good data tomorrow. It's that, or we just curl up now, we end the week up towards 611 tomorrow, and then we're off to the races maybe. What do I think about eat this week? I don't think about eating right now. Oof. It looks like a 30-minute pullback, probably to go retest 155 or the 5-day moving average. Well, yeah, 155 or the 5-day moving average. It's still a positive trend. I think you wanted to see a better reaction there, but it's not bad. All right, and then if that's not going to withstand, if that 30-minute doesn't curl up, you start to lose the 5, be watching those 2-hour charts, because if that crosses down, you're taking out the low, going to make a new one. Maybe just fill in this gap also. Whew. All right, so maybe we don't let the market fall down lower than 590. Notice that 590 level becoming pretty important again. What the heck? Let's see. 2 weeks. Oh, fudge. These options just completely rotated around. Now they're flipped. Did I just mess up something? Dang it. I really hope I didn't. Alright, I mean, let me look at a different one. I'm gonna click through some stocks real quick. Apple about to hit weekly expected move. You know, let me look at these. I can't find like anything absolutely great. Okay, GME. DJT in our zone. SoFi in the zone. Palantir. GLD outside of a weekly. AVGO using that as support. This probably ends up being decently positive. Oh, that's what I was looking at. Alright, well, we'll see. Really want to see the Qs as well. We actually have the clear divergence now. I think we got a see if it's going to continue, but you actually see it on the Qs. But my brain's starting to get fried. Can Google not bounce back up? It can, it's just, it's risky now. I think it was risky the whole time, right? We didn't have a lot of things to go off of, especially as it violated. I'm sure, like, honestly, a lot of the time you get snapbacks from this type of stuff, but it's just I don't put my money behind snapbacks anymore. That is not my game. Ooh, IWM. IWM is the one creating the floor here. Very nice. Very nice. Damn. Not bad. What's IWM at? Weekly expected move? Look at that's any cheaper. Just IWM hasn't seen fantastic moves in a while. I don't think. Run up, but it just kind of failed it. I wonder if we get another run up to like 222. Oh god, my head's starting to pound, guys, so we might not have much time. Interesting. We'll see, but that's something I want to see. I want to see that. That's great. Yeah, IWM is one that I'm going to pay attention to because that's the best divergence we see. 2 hour, really deep. So I'm looking for that test of 222.80. 222.80, and then we got to watch out. Please look at LLY. LLY. Lillian Co. Yeah, probably the end of the road here for you soon, Lily. This is kind of looking like one of those plays from Meta, Google, anything like that. I just think for the most part this is squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Eventually you're going to see some kind of pullback, but we were able to break through that 892.50. So that's great, but we need to see if this thing's going to break down. I don't think you have like great 30-minute signals to enter a trade. I'd be looking at this 2 hour just going, hey, if that crosses down, this is most likely heading down to 842 unless we bounce off of that 892. QQQ buy. I think if I think day traders who like to get in early would love this price point. I think day traders are seeing the double touches and going, all right, that's where I go long, and then we bounce off that, right? Is JP Morgan worth doing? Well, you did make basing, so if you're curling up on the 2 hour, we're heading into a time here where you don't have much time to Friday. You can see little pullbacks and things like that, but you can also just see an extended 2 hour bounce. Now, 2 hour lower high, you're thinking the right way because this has broken down. A reaction up could start that new trend down. So you're really just looking for 30-minute weakness in here at all. I don't think you see it at this moment. Let me go double check. Yeah, you don't see it. If anything, you want this to see more positivity. Because this 30-minute is close to the center line, this thing can unconfirm soon if this just rejects and heads down. But you would want to maybe pile up here or break through and use that as support. So hitting the upper weekly, I'm not someone who likes to buy at upper weekly expected moves, so I wouldn't necessarily be buying if this is hitting a weekly expected move. That's just my style of thinking. But it still can break through there and see that 2 hour move higher. The trade was down. I think you're just waiting for this to show you the next one, and I think the next one is a 2 hour goes like this, then goes like that. I mean, unless it's going to be quick, and then you reverse around, but that's how I see it right now. Maybe ask me tomorrow when my brain's not absolutely pounding behind my eyes. All right, IWM looks good. That's the signal I like the most. I like the IWM signal the most for sure. And this wick went down to the weekly expected move again, so I actually really like that look. Volatility starting to curl down again. We'll see if that happens. I just don't feel like people are that faked out. I feel like a lot of calls are still coming in. As someone who day trades, I don't keep the lower time frames, daily and hourly charts. Yeah, see, you say something different than most people who day trade, which means you're probably more successful than most people who day. It's like if everyone's looking at 1 minute and 5 minute charts and you know the percentage is 95% loss rate, and then you tell me you do it differently than that, I'm probably going to be like, you might be one of those 5%ers. I think we need to relax. I think so too. That's why I'm trying to relax, honestly. I just don't think Google was the best look at that point. So my strategies are very much so around like lines in the sand. Like, hey, I have to see these things. I'm not seeing those things from Google, but IWM showing this. IWM looks great. I think the Qs look great. I think that the SPY held up, giving you a higher low. Can you really complain about that? Any news dropping today? Yeah, the GDP came out. GDP came out at 2.3, expected 2.3, forecast 2.3. That is lower than 3.1. Durable goods orders as well came in higher. And then jobless claims 242, which is higher as well. This is all recessionary, by the way. This is all leaning towards economic weakness. Lower or higher initial jobless claims than expected. GDP growth rate, 2.3, previous 3.1. You're not growing as fast. Those are two very obvious things. And then you see pending home sales month over month, negative. Way more negative than expected. These are all like telling us recession might be right around the corner. Like we might... Unless something crazy happens, these things suggest that we could be walking into a trap in March. But I'm down though. I'm down if I'm aware that, hey, it's a high probability to be a trap in March. Then I go, okay, trap me, daddy, you know? I'm like, trap me, daddy. I'll take calls, trap me. GME V-shape. AMC looks good. GME looks good. Why is, and here's the thing, guys, these stocks, don't they move around IWM? And IWM's giving a good signal too. Rejection here, that's great. And I think what you want to more so see is potentially these are going to squeeze together. Then the market might go through something bad later on in March. And then these things will actually see the potential short squeeze. We'll see. These are great though, that's good. Good little fake outs in the morning. Now that direction, we still want to see if it's flipping back and forth. As this is curled down, we need to be paying attention to down still. Once it starts to curl up, okay, we can pay attention to up. So I will have to hop off. My head is just absolutely pounding right now. So I apologize that today's going to be a shortened day, but I need to go lay on my back and put my laptop on a pillow or something because I am dying fast. So thank you guys so much for joining today. I hope all of you are well. I tried to put as much energy into this as I could. But man, I am dying off, and now I got the headache behind both eyes. You know when you feel it like pulsing behind your eyes? Ugh. But thank you guys so much for being here. I will try to get well as fast as possible so I can put out a YouTube video tonight. If there's no YouTube video tonight, I will still be posting the daily expected moves to Patreon. It just depends on how well I'm feeling. And then tomorrow morning, hopefully I wake up with some better rest and we all can talk about stocks again. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.